Hi there, everybody. This is Tyler, and we are here playing Gauntlet League Wrestling, Worldwide Wrestling, one of my favorite games in the whole wide world. And we're playing with the Gauntlet gaming community, which, folks at home, if you like role-playing games, if you like folks that are supportive and generous and fun to play with, we do online gaming fantastically at the Gauntlet. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com. We have like 100 games a month up for people to play. We have also we have a Slack. We have all these wonderful things that you could come and join us, and it is fun. If you like gaming, we're a fun crew to play with. We have a pretty good size roster. We have, if you saw last week, I had our first session. We had folks returning from that, and then we have a new wrestler joining the roster, which is fantastic. And we're going to be introducing those in just a second. Our crew already has gone over safety tools. We use safety tools. In our case, we have some Alliance of Veils, we have the X card, and we have our code of conduct here for the Gauntlet. Folks at home, I urge you to use safety tools. It makes your table, it just makes your table better, and your people feel a little bit more secure when they play. So, with all of that said, we're going to hop into finding out what these characters are like. And I'm just going to go straight down our character keeper order. Chris, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hey, I'm Chris Newton. You see him pronouns. I'll be playing Dr. Retro, the clown playbook. Dr. Retro is a classic comedy mad scientist in the realm of like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Ever seen any of those? Just absolutely slapstick comedy stuff is what he does. He is your classic bumbling oaf. Like if he gets a win, it's a fluke. It'll be talked about forever. Usually things blow up in his face, and he comedically loses a match in the most spectacularly silly fashion possible.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Next up, oops. My character keeper mode. Next up, Lowell, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
I am Stan, the Percolator Steiger. Years with Gauntlet League Wrestling, and I've been to Japan, and I did some other things, and I come back, and I know that maybe we didn't part on the best terms, but I'm here to show Gauntlet League Wrestling that I can do what needs to be done.
Ooh, thank you very, very much. And worth noting, currently Stan, the Percolator Steiger, is joint at the top of our roster. He is over. Next up, let's see. Oh, Ferret, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hello, I am Ferret. I use any pronouns like a whimsical little internet fairy, and I am playing Lilith, the first woman of wrestling. And yes, when you introduce her, you say the entire title. And she is an indie scene darling who's been on the indie scene not as long as Stan's been wrestling his entire career. She's also been to Japan, and she got a music deal out of it when she went. And she's here to prove herself against the big boys and iron women of wrestling in the Gauntlet League.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. And next up, oops, there, I always keep dropping that off. Next up, someone a little connected with the First Lady of Wrestling. Shane, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Well, look, Jefferson doesn't need to brag like some of these other, old timers. I might be new to the business, but last week I showed exactly what I can do when I represent a client. The Lilith First Woman of Wrestling is my first and greatest signing to Inferno Incorporated, but I would like to build a stable. If any of you other athletes, sports entertainers want to join the hottest up and coming stable in this promotion, my door is always open.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Next up, David, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
My name is David. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Goliath, who is
a Philistine who has an odd assortment of armor that gets strapped onto him as a part of his look. But the truth is, he's just Hank Miller from Iowa. He's related to Marge, and he was good at wrestling in college, like regular wrestling, but he couldn't make the grades happen. And rather than do anything that his parents wanted him to do, he decided to hit up his aunt and live the dream. And he's trying his best. But it helps that he's real corn-fed, big guy who can at least throw some people around, if not do a whole lot else. But that is Goliath.
And our other person who is over right now with for audience, Goliath there.
Yeah, we owe a lot to the percolator.
And last but certainly not least, our new player, Brandon, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
I am Brandon. My character is Santa Muerte, the angel of death. She, who claims, who wears a face paint mask made out to be like the Mexican Day of the Dead, and who claims both offering and on to be possessed by the Holy Spirit of death in both its aggressive and its protective aspects. She is a luchador in tradition, and a high flyer by wrestling habit. When she climbs the top rope and leap, it almost seems as if she hangs in the air for a moment before gravity once again takes hold of her. And when she looks deep into your eyes, you may see the end. Is it good? Is it bad? Only time will tell.
Ooh, fantastic. And is she a technico, a face?
She is a technical.
Excellent. All right. We're going to get some heat built up real quick for her. But I want to mention something we didn't talk about last time, but now that we're going through, keep in mind we have face and heel moves that are there on our move sheet. Using 2 momentum, you could kind of do some various things in matches. Worth looking at, worth remembering. And there is also break kayfabe, which we didn't really get around to last time, and that is if you decide to bring kind of the real world into the ring and air the dirty laundry in front of the public, that could do some things as well. Pretty interesting, but a move we didn't see last time. All right. So, Brandon, why don't we get 3 of your heat questions so we can build up a heat map? And keep in mind, everyone, a technical counts as a face. So any of you heels can go ahead and pick up 1 heat to start with. And Brandon, you could add a heat from all of the heels.
Okay, I will add that, but let me ask my questions.
Mm-hmm.
Who always has my back?
Ooh. Who's thinking that? Like
Jefferson,
that? Oh.
which I was just going to suggest Jefferson Inferno might be looking to add you to the stable, but looked like Dr. Retro was raising the hand.
Yeah, Doc, what you think?
I can see Doc and she basically working with each other, because we both have sort of over the top gimmicks that don't fit as well with some of the other roster. I mean, Goliath is kind of over the top, but like he's just like literally towers over the top. That's a different thing. Like, it's not the gimmick that makes him that makes him a ridiculous spectacle. It's the fact that he's like 7 feet tall and steps over the ring post to get into the ring, kind of thing.
Okay. So add a heat with Dr. Retro. And I'm going to ask, oops, I can't minimize. I always forget that. Santa Muerte. I'll have to remember so I can say that fairly well. You kind of implied that you get deep character. You sort of even backstage are saying in character for the most part. What do you Well,
Yes.
what do you think of Dr. Retro, who, I'm correct, Chris, Dr. Retro does not stay in character backstage, right?
Only if there's a camera on him.
Gotcha.
I mean, most of the time, he is always back there like prepping because his act kind of takes a lot of backstage prep. But like he's only Dr. Retro if there's a camera nearby. Otherwise, he's just Charlie.
What do you think of that?
Santa Muerte thinks that Charlie Barnes is a sweet man who deserves all good things in life.
Excellent. All righty. Next question.
It is a gift to make others laugh. And he has the blessings of Santa Muerte in doing this. What especially, I do not imagine that there are many children in the audience, but where the older children are there, especially making children laugh, is a great blessing.
Excellent, excellent. Your next heat question?
My next heat question is, who mentored me when I first joined the roster?
Ooh, well, let me ask, how long have you been wrestling?
Not very long. I think her mystique is still fresh. Enough to that she's still on the power curve of enthusiasm for the strange weird vibe that she's bringing to the ring.
Okay.
She's very talented, but she hasn't been Santa Muerte that long.
Oh, okay, interesting. And yeah, you've got two work, so you are very talented. All right then.
So this incarnation is relatively recent.
Okay, and so
but she used to be Gabriela Lopez.
Okay.
How about before, I take that mentor?
Ooh, I like that.
Sounds perfect.
But Santa Muertes has gone over into a supernatural gimmick, and Percolator hates that shit. Like loathes, because he saw what it did to the promotion before with the whole Bleakwood angle and haunted dolls and stuff. So I think I've mentored maybe before, as you said, before you became Santa Muerte, and now that that's happened, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, you knew her as Gabriela Lopez, and she was basically a straight up face high flyer. But then at one point she claimed that she had become possessed, and her whole gimmick changed, and she is helped with.
Oh, man.
Perfect. Makes sense probably while Stan was during the tour of the Indies, maybe down in Mexico.
Yes.
All right.
You recognize who she as she claims used to be.
Your next question.
And the next question is, who wishes they could do what I do?
I think that could be me. Maybe I'm become interested in actually stepping in the ring one day.
And so from a very technical side, the wrestling ability. Okay.
I like that high flying stuff. I know, some people think it's a bit flashy, but I think it looks cool.
Nice. All right. So I'm going to do kind of a random of three people to ask a question back. And by the way, we could find our roller on the Lines and Veils tab. It is in there. And I'm going to roll a D10 and divide it in half. I imagine I could roll a D5, but I'm lazy. So looking at number 3 on our roster. 1, 2, 3. That is you, First Lady Lilith. What question would you like to toss over towards?
I only have one, and I think it's perfect. Who thinks I'm completely overrated?
Nice. All right.
I knew the first lady, and you're not her.
I think it's also the fact that I say I'm the first lady of wrestling, but I am Lilith. I am using my my legal name to wrestle. Like or I changed my legal name. Like I'm the opposite of you. I am like turning my kayfabe into real life while you are just method acting it or something, it feels like.
Are full on feeling possessed. I love it. And
Yeah.
that's a great line. I do love the first lady. That's wonderful. All right. Whew. So you gained 1 heat there, Lilith. Rolling again, disregarding, I guess I can roll a 4 this time. Roll.
So it's me.
It is.
I have one I haven't done, which is who am I keeping out of the spotlight? And I think that reflects my, please don't put the supernatural, don't put the possessed. No, 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 no. So I think that I'm my quiet whisper campaign on that.
Okay, so pick up 1 heat as you are attempting to both pull Santa away from this and to kind of push the promotion away from that as well. Love it. So add a heat there. And then my final one is David.
Let's see. Who tries the hardest to avoid working with me?
So the giant there, what is it that is causing you to not want to wrestle this young, enormous wrestler, Goliath?
Oh. Well, the first first thing I think of is simply the disparity in size, because Santa Muerte is not big, but I think it would be much more interesting to come up with something completely off the wall, which is that this is what my character says. Correct?
Yeah.
It can be what I say. I don't wish to hasten the demise of someone who doesn't have much time left.
Oh. Oh, so creepy and enigmatic. So add a heat there, Goliath. And I'm going to ask, do you have family? Is there the person you were? Is there still family out there that try to get in touch with you?
Yes, and I treat them kindly. They are. I am no longer their sister and daughter, but it doesn't mean that I have to. I treat them. They're good. They're good people. They're good Catholics, and I try to show them kindness and forbearance and understanding of the very difficult situation that they have been put into.
So I can take it that they are concerned.
Yes. Maybe one of my sisters is a huge fan, I think, and the rest of my family is completely freaked out.
Gotcha. Oh, I love it. There's a lot for me to play into with that. Wonderful. All right, then. So we've got our heat map, and I think we're going to start with, we've moved on from Asheville, North Carolina, and are playing in Fort Worth, Texas. The promotion has moved to Fort Worth, Texas. Ferret, what is the venue that we have managed to get a hold of in Fort Worth?
I think last time there was the rodeo venue, so I can't do that with. I think we got kind of lucky and unlucky at the same time, as this our promotion got tied with the local college, and we're in the college like stadium, not auditorium, but like actual stadium.
Ooh, another outside show. Interesting, interesting. Jefferson. We're playing in this stadium. Tell me, what have you done to promote not just the show, but in particular you and your client?
So I had these special coffee cups printed up with Lilith's face on them. Lilith, the first woman of wrestling. And I've been going around everywhere telling people to forget about that dirty old percolator coffee. They need to get themselves a latte in this beautiful, fresh cup.
Oh, ooh, I almost should give you some more heat for there, percolator. Wow, shots fired.
And that is definitely I have a move where I can try and book a segment backstage, and I'm definitely angling to convince Marge that the Lilith and the percolator would work well together.
Nice. All righty. David, we're playing at this college stadium. What is the mascot of this Fort Worth College?
I was trying to think of a real college. I can't think of a good one that's there. They're all smaller or like TCU or something like that. So I'm just going to make up one.
Absolutely.
I think it's, the Tarrant County Phillies or something like that. Like it's Tarrant County College. I think Fort Worth is in Tarrant County. I don't know. It sounds right.
The Phillies, eh?
Yeah, the Phillies.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, not a rodeo theme, but we can't get far from the horses.
Wonderful. Thank you. Brandon. So we know the Phillies stadium here. Tell me, we have an internet show that we're doing here, but what is the local TV? They've given us a slot, but what is our lead-in show from this small local TV station?
I mean, what's the show prior to
Right
Gauntlet
before we
Wrestling?
come on.
Okay, that's in the modern day. The show is the most dangerous catch, Antarctica.
Excellent. That should get everybody worked up. Chris?
So they're icebreakers smashing holes in the ice, and then they're going after, sea monsters. I have no idea what they're going after.
Wonderful. Chris, they've had all this set up. They're really ready for the big promotion. What is the special food they're selling here at the stadium for the wrestling match?
Oh gosh. I think they say it's like special, but they say it's special just for the wrestling promotion. But really, this is recycled county fair stuff. So it's funnel cakes that they've sort of reshaped into almost a square. So they call it squared circle cakes. They're just basically like redone funnel cakes. They are delicious still, but it's not. It is kind of a little bit of a letdown that it's just something they've recycled from something else.
Excellent. And final question here to kind of set up the place. They've got a lot of the students. The students were able to get tickets for free. So we know we're going to have a bunch of the college kids here. But the student union had an opening act before the wrestling starts. What's the opening act that you can hear out there playing as all of you are getting ready?
I think it's that they have like the surviving member and like a refound band of Three Dog Night, like really old, but band, and like someone old booked the show, not any of the college students.
Perfect. All right. So the retread sounds of Three Dog Night are out there playing as Marge, back at her trailer, has asked you, Jefferson, to come and have a little chat with her.
Thanks, Marge, for making some time for me. I appreciate it.
No problem, Jefferson. I got to tell you, you impressed me last time, and I'm hoping you're going to continue to do that.
Well, that's great to hear. I'm very proud to be here. I had some ideas about tonight's show if you want to hear them.
Really? Ideas? Yeah. Yeah, sure. What kind of ideas you got, kid?
Well, I mean, now I feel he kind of wipes his sweaty palms on his pants. He says, "Look, I mean, I just noticed how big Stan was getting over last week, and no disrespect to anyone, but I think what would really help him is being in there with a good hand, someone who can really like make him look good in the ring, and I think that's Lilith at the moment."
Really? I've kind of got this feud I'm planning on him and Goliath, riding the heat we've got going now, but you think Lilith would be a good choice, huh?
I think Lilith and Stan would work well together. I mean, maybe there's a way to work a tag team angle into things. I don't know how Lilith and Goliath would feel about working together, but that could be a way to go. That could, if you want to keep building the heat between Goliath and Stan without, a head-to-head confrontation, that could be a smart way to go.
I kind of like that, kid. Why don't we have you roll your backstage politics? By the way, our momentum will have reset, meaning you have your starting momentum. And I think before we get into this, we probably should go ahead and do our overmoves. So they'll be on your sheet, should tell you, I think everyone except for our over people will be getting one momentum to start. Lilith, by the way, are you up to 2 as well, Dr. Retro? Do you have enough for?
I was at audience 3 at the end of last show. So if we reset audience, let me know. I'll be back down to 1. But
we don't reset audience, but we do reset momentum. So and that's based on your audience.
Okay, so audience 3 says I should start with 2. So
did you start with 2?
Yes.
Lilith, did you not get up to 3 audience last time? Okay, I thought you had. Alrighty. So you'll have 1. I believe, Brandon, you'll start with 1 unless there's something different. Lowell and David, you both start with 2. By the way, David, because you got an advance, that healed your injury you picked up last time. And Jefferson, you also will be starting with 1, I believe, unless do you have an audience of 3? Shane?
No, sorry.
Okay, so you'll be starting with 1 as well. So, Lowell, why don't you roll the overmove real quick? And you are muted, my love.
It's good because I was just talking to myself going, look, I should add some dice to the thing. Let's see. Let's look. I have a look of 0. So we're going to roll. Ooh, that is a 5.
Oh, dear.
Nice, good start.
Choose whether created books you with your lowest heat opponent, or whether the promotion. Oh, nope, it doesn't have that. We're just going to have you. We don't have the promos.
Do I want to boost? Oh, I'm going to spend my 2 momentum, take that to a 7.
All right.
I'll take that hit right away.
Well, then would you like to demand and be granted any match you want, call out someone to pick up a heat with them, or gain that one of those momentum back.
I want to call out at the beginning of the episode, like a behind the scenes, me talking to Marge. I'm like, look, you cannot have civilians down there by the ring interfering with the match. And I think you've got to call that manager, Jefferson Infernal, to task and get him back in line.
Burke, I mean, managers are at ringside, but I will make sure that he's not getting in your way. You're a pro. Baby, I love you, Burke. You're the reason I've got this tour. I'm sure you understand, though. Pick up a heat with Jefferson.
Yeah.
David,
and I think that is on camera. Like that's an on camera.
So that was an on camera. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh. All right. David, roll me your over with look.
Right. Also 5.
Oh. Well, how would you like to face things?
That means I would be facing Jefferson Inferno if that's even possible. That's my lowest heat.
Or I'd pull up an NPW that you have 0 with, or punish you with a hard move along the other way or something.
That's true. Let's see what happens. I'll ride the 5.
All right. I will then put that little hard move off to the side and hit you with that in just a moment. So, Jefferson, why don't we get that backstage politics roll?
All right.
Rolling with real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How'd you
It's an
do?
11.
Ooh, that is fantastic. All right.
Happy that Goliath and the Percolator cleared the bad rolls out of the machine for me.
So you get to take 2 momentum, and you can set up any segment you want later in the show. So for that, you can go ahead and say something to Marge here, or you could kind of do an interrupt somewhere in here and let me know some segment you're wanting to do as you see how the show develops. What do you think?
I mean, I do just want to book the match between Lilith, the First Woman of Wrestling, and the Percolator. If people are interested in making it into a tag match, that I'm also perfectly happy with that. But if singles matches work better, that's fine.
All right. Because Marge will say, look, Jefferson, you said something last week when we were in Asheville that kind of got the old bean kind of buzzing a little. You were talking up my nephew. A good guiding hand, someone that could help him do the talkie. That would be, I think that might help him out.
Listen, I'd love to help out your family.
Then it sounds great. You want Lilith going up against Percolator? I want you to help out Goliath. I also want to keep that hot streak going. How about Lilith and Goliath tagging against Perk? And I'm sure I could find someone for Perk to be working with.
Marge, that is genius. That is so good. Thank you so much. I'll leave you to it. Excuse me. And just awkwardly backing out before she reconsiders.
Excellent. All right. Dr. Retro. You made a little bit of money on your merch, but I think you ended up sending pretty much everything home.
Oh yeah, Dr. Retro is living off of peanut butter sandwiches for this whole week until he gets a check for hopefully a lot of merch sales here in Texas. Although he was really disappointed we bypassed Florida because he still has like 2 boxes of those skunk ape figures that he made. And those things smell awful, and he doesn't want to keep them in the car. But I'm not gonna be able to sell those here. Like
old refurbished Moss Man from He-Man.
Oh yeah, but with like a little chemical additive to make them smell almost as bad as the Stinkor figures.
Ooh.
So like he's had those in his car, and it's pretty ripe in there.
Oh, all right. So kind of, having roughed it, Marge will call you into the back office and say, Retro, I know you've been having a tough time. The rumors going around, expenses back at the house. No one can say that I'm not a sympathetic heart. I was going to make sure that your merch table right there near the door, one of the first ones when they come in. And, I'll even make sure that one of the ring guys is there to man your table, even when you're in the ring.
Thanks, Marge. I really appreciate it.
I could use a little favor, though, Retro.
Sure. What do you need?
I liked the chemical angle. I liked seeing you with stuff. I thought that was fun. And I kind of like the idea of you and that Jefferson starting to run afoul of each other. He's gonna be big, Rhett. You could ride those coattails right on into a sweet spot here. I think your brand of wrestling would play well against a manager. What you think, Rhett?
I can see it. I think the kid's got spark. Like, he lit up that crowd last week with that gimmick. I didn't think it was going to go as far as it did, to be honest. But he made it work. He played it up well. I'm not sure how much Lilith liked it, but like Jefferson seemed to be into playing it up for a few laps.
Lilith's a pro. She understands that money's what's important in this game. I'm sure she's fine. Keep your eyes open. If there's a moment you see where you could go in there, get your face out there, make a little business with the old manager. Think of your spots, Rhett. Think of your spots.
I think I've got something I'll be working on. I just need like a couple of big cardboard packing boxes and some PVC pipe.
Whatever you need, Rhett, within reason. Whatever you need.
Okay, all I need is like cheap junk that I can make look decent in a bad light.
You
That's
said my favorite word, cheap.
And junk. No, wait, that's my favorite word.
And she will usher you on out. She will come and find you, Goliath. Hank, how you doing?
Hey, my knee's feeling better. What's going on?
It looks
Heard something
better.
about a tag team.
Yeah, we're gonna keep working. You like working with Stan, right?
Well, sure. Yeah, I think he's the only one that likes working with me, to be honest.
Perk is a pro. There's nobody better. We're lucky to have him. And you're lucky to have him looking out for you. But we can't just have you going back and forth. People get tired of seeing the same match. A tag team, though, that's going to open things up for us. That's going to bring in a little bit of, real excitement. And working with Lilith, another person who's very good at what she does.
Yeah, I think that's going to work all right. I mean, but who's going to be working with the percolator? Like, are they going to be able to work with me? I'm a little nervous. That high flyer you got, she like crosses herself every time I go near her.
No, you shouldn't. Don't let that worry you. I mean, just coming into the roster, I think would be a very interesting choice to come around. But no. Stan has somebody that he's worked with before. Retro. They're old partners.
All right. Well, I probably better, get to know him a little. Make sure we got some things worked out. I don't want nobody to get really unduly hurt.
I think you and Retro have talked over stuff before, and he's a great guy. Trust me.
Yeah, I like what he's got with all he's got good energy, good action, good costume things. I gotta work something better than what I got right now.
Money is no problem. Get yourself looking great. Kid, you're gonna do wonderful. And your mom called yesterday, a little worried. I told her you're doing fine. Why did you mention your knee when you talked to her?
I didn't say nothing about my niece. She must have seen something. I don't know how she could have, though. Were we televised?
I didn't know she could work the interweb. But she told me that if you get hurt, that you're gonna have to come home. Now, you're a grown man, but that's my sister. I'd hate to have to cut you.
Ah, come on. Just keep it quiet, don't tell her nothing. Is this one on the web? Is this one televised?
Oh, of course they are. This is entertainment, Hank.
Well, maybe she won't be watching this time somehow. How'd they get internet out there? They start making the internet run on corn? What is this?
Beats me. Your dad certainly wouldn't have paid for it.
No, we wouldn't. Not a chance.
And so she will pat you on the back and come and find you, Santa Marta. Marge is a former giant. She's a big lady. And she will have kind of, where does she find you? You are muted, my love.
She finds me backstage. In the back storage room, there is a tiny little prayer bench there with an icon of Saint with an icon crucifix attached to the wall in front of it. Something very simple, that's very portable. And she is there, and she is praying.
Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you praying and stuff.
Margaret, please, there's no interruption.
Call me Marge.
Of course, I never do. Yes.
Nice to have you joining the roster. I had kept a really good eye on you for a number of years. This new gimmick, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm sure it's gonna go over big.
I am happy that you approve. I would hate to think that you are disappointed.
Well, that's good to hear that we don't want to be disappointed. I want to see you out there tonight. This is, we're a small promotion, but get out there, do your big hits, your big moments, just high spots. But some of the stuff I've been seeing you do on the road, it's a little creepy.
I am sorry if my habits perturb you. I assure you that the death is not the monster it's so often made out to be. It's just a natural part of life.
Yeah, you
But
don't
nevertheless,
want nobody dying.
Oh, no. I don't expect that people would die when it is their time. And as the saint of death, I am responsible for protecting those whose time it is not yet right to die, as much as it is helping those who have died go on to the next world. But is there something in particular that is disturbing you?
I just want to make sure you're getting along well with the rest of the roster. We all got to depend on each other. Safety, making sure we're all getting built up. You're on the right page, aren't you there?
Of course. I would not have joined you here did I not believe that your enterprise was one that would bring great joy and happiness to a great number of people. I do not understand exactly why the Holy Saint of Death has placed my feet on this path, but I will pursue it with vigor and with enthusiasm. You need have no reservations about that.
Good. I'm glad we had this talk.
And you should really have that looked at.
What?
The pain you've been having, it's probably nothing, but you should have it looked at. You don't take care of yourself.
Thanks. I'll do that. And she sort of backs away.
She smiles. And her smile is both kind of enchanting and also a little frightening, because of the way she's made up. And she nods to Marge and goes back to her rosary.
All right. With that, Marge will post up the bookings list. So, got a couple of matches, and then we're going to take our first break. Or I'm going to announce our matches, then we're going to take our first break. We know we've got the big tag team match. Wouldn't mind seeing that up first in our run. So we're going to have Goliath and Lilith versus the Percolator and Dr. Retro, with Jefferson there at ringside. Brandon, you'll be on the announce table either as the Saint or as anyone else you want to. Do you know what the announce table does?
A little bit.
Okay.
I read the basics, but
okay,
but a refresher would not hurt, and I'll review it in the in-betweens.
Okay, no. As the announce table, you kind of give commentary. I'll throw over to you to kind of have a little something to say in the match. You also get to put over during the match, which allows you to, you say you put over, and it takes any result up a stage. So if it's a fail, it goes to a medium. If it's a medium, it goes to a 10+.
Got it.
So something to use during the course of the match to kind of help it go along. Jefferson, I'm going to give you the option, because Percolator sort of had a little bit of problem with you being at the ringside. Would you like to be on the announce table, or would you like to be there as part of the match?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to want to be interfere at some point in the match, but I think it would be cool to start out on the announce desk.
Excellent. And so you will also get a put over. All right. The next match we're going to have after we'll have a few of the other NPWs wrestle. And then we're going to get a match where, unfortunately, folks having to do some double duty. We just, when we got a tag match, people have to do some double duty. We're going to have Lilith going up against the Santa Marte. Gonna see how that plays out. And Jefferson, you will definitely be ringside for that one. And then we're going to finish with a if we should, and I think we should, if we have time for it, we're going to finish with a Retro going and Goliath going at each other, and we'll have you, Lowell, on the announce table for that. All right. Probably with you too, Ferret. All right. So that's going to be our lineup. Let's take our first break. Let's take 10 minutes or so, and we'll come back and get going. All righty. So we're setting up for the first match, Three Dog Night Reduke has come off the stage to rather tepid applause. The student section, though, is, yes, Chris?
Before we get into the tag team match, I threw into the chat if I could get a quick backstage scene with Jefferson.
Absolutely. And I kind of also want to have a moment with you at the perk as well. But the Three Dog Night group has come off. The student section is rocking because they have been selling beer up in the stands. And so there is a bit of a rowdy crowd. They're letting you all know that before the show starts. And let's go ahead then, and Retro, why don't you have that chat with Jefferson?
So I think wherever he'd typically hang out backstage, to kind of go over a couple of ideas for what we can do to build this thing up a little bit. Where do you think Jefferson's hanging out that Doc would find him?
I don't know what's the back. I mean, I assume there's just one tiny little dressing room that we're all crammed into. So I guess it's
well, I mean, I think we've got a big chunk of the theater, but I mean, like
yeah, there's a couple of locker rooms.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just off in a corner on his phone or something like that.
Okay. I think Doc comes over and like waves him down for a minute. Hey,
takes his earbuds out.
Hey, Jefferson, I've got a couple of ideas for how to kick things up a little bit when it comes to the tag team thing tonight. And
sounds great.
So
what are you thinking?
Well, the secret vial thing like went over big last time, and like you kicked that up a notch. That was great. Marge wants to do something else, but I don't want to hit that same exact well too often. So what I'm thinking about doing is basically bringing down a very large box to ringside, and having that sort of like, having that sort of off to the side as and the Doc's, and I'm going to sell that as like the secret weapon. Okay. So, and the backstage skit leading up to it is going to sort of set that part up. And basically what I want to what I think is going to happen, and you tell me if you like this idea, is that when Doc goes over and starts to look like he's going to do something with the box, maybe open it or maybe push a button on it or something like that. I'm still working out the details of the box. I'm getting that worked on over here with a couple of the guys, and like whatever I do that, I think maybe Lilith or Goliath basically stop Doc from doing that, and then maybe you do a run over and try to sabotage the box or something, and then the box basically just poofs out, and basically it's going to be a big smoke machine in there, and it basically leaves you sort of a smoky mess, coughing and like and that sort of stuff, and maybe becomes a big distraction at ringside for Lilith and Goliath as they try and like get you out of the smoke and help make sure you're safe and all that sort of thing.
Retro, I appreciate you putting so much thought into this, but I'm a little nervous about your box exploding in my face.
I don't know. It's a smoke machine. Like when you open, basically what's going to be in there is basically a lot of smoke, and when it opens, like the smoke's going to come out. Like it's not blowing up. That's not what's happening. Like I'm not having an explosive. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. This is Texas. I don't trust any of the hands here to actually responsibly handle high explosives. Like I'm not going to do that.
All right, good. It sounds like we're on the same page then.
Yeah, just a lot of smoke, and have you ever dealt with like sort of like stage dust? Basically something to basically make make your cheats look dusty like a cartoon character or something that's just had something blow up in their face.
Yeah, I think that's great. I can stooge. I can walk around in circles looking confused. It can feed into the finish somehow.
So like when you so here you go, and he takes out like a little plastic like sandwich style bag, and it's got that sort of stage smudging stuff that you can really quickly like smudge, like if you go and you smudge it on your face, and then you're all smudgy, right? He hands you a bag of it and says, "This is the best stuff. It washes right off with like a little bit of good soap and a good washcloth scrubbing. No deep cleansing required. It's just basically window dressing, but it looks great under. It still looks like realistic-ish smudging under the spotlight. So it's good stuff."
I just have one question about all this though. How do you think Stan is going to go for this theatrics?
I'm gonna work with Stan. We're gonna make it work. Like Marge wants it, and Stan's a company guy. So like,
all right.
Stan's a pro. He's an old hand. He's had to deal with he's worked in Japan where they do like exploding death matches. He can handle a fake smoke machine in a box. He's a pro.
Okay, sound like we're on the same page then.
Yeah, then I think at some point we need to have the scene where Retro tries to sell this to Stan.
We'll hit y'all to in just a moment because I want to hit over Lilith. You have just gotten off the phone. Your son again in a fight. Apparently, some of the kids making fun of his mom. Your mom's tougher than you are, that sort of thing, picking on him. And the hubby's like, I don't know, sweetie, it's rough.
I understand. And I put Jerome on the phone, and I'll explain to him about the seriousness of this and that. I'll tell him my stance on it, and you don't need to be the bad parent. We're in this together, honey.
Okay, and so I think we're going to kind of do a little bit of a wipe as we see you talking with him. You convey.
There's one thing I want to ask.
Okay.
The son, is your father out of the room?
Yeah, he's out.
Did you win?
Sort of. I got my licks in.
As long as you gave as good as you got, I'm proud of you. I know it's not what your father wants, but sometimes we have to learn to stand up for ourselves. Just learn to pick your battles. Is this important enough to break your record for? Or do you want, I can stand up for myself. You don't need to stand up for me. And if this insults you, honey, the world's going to eat you alive.
You just don't understand at all. You just don't understand what I'm going through.
Jerome, I was the only female wrestler in town, and now I'm one of the only female wrestlers with their head on straight in this promotion. It may be different, but I'm not that different from you.
All you care about is wrestling, slam. And I think as you hang up the phone, Goliath, Hank, I think you kind of overheard this. And as you turn around, Lilith, you see Hank there.
Hey, sorry, wasn't trying to hear nothing. Just cramped quarters,
No, and to be honest, if I didn't notice you standing there, I guess I was in deep.
Hey, sometimes you see you don't see something till it moves. You just think it's a wall or a pillar or something. No problem. But I get it. I got family too, and they're not exactly this life is complicated.
I'm working with Retro to try and get him to tutor Jerome a bit, and I'm trying. I'm trying. You are too. I'm proud to work with you tonight.
Hey, let's get up there and let's like put on a show, give them something to think about.
Yeah. And and like, so I think she'll like work with Goliath or Hank to like, have him like holding her on his shoulder, and like so she'll be sitting on his shoulder and like waving to the crowd as they go up for their like tag team entrance kind of thing.
Okay, nice. So we do a little bit of thinking on the match that could set some things up for heat during the course of it. All right. I'm intrigued to see Jefferson and Santa Muerta encounter each other in the back hall. Santa, what do you got your ring attire, you're ready, for the show as Jefferson comes towards you, but what are you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm in my entrance attire, which is a beautiful red dress and a parasol and an elegant broad-brimmed hat, because this is what the Catarina looks like. I have my wrestling togs underneath it, of course, and I move like a dancer. It suggests perhaps something of who Gabriella was. Hello, Jefferson.
And Jefferson, you're aware that you've got this match. So far, you've never seen Santa before. There's this match with your client tonight.
Hey Santa, how you doing? I heard you do some cool high flying stuff.
Yes, I and Gravity have an understanding.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a good line. You should use that on the mic.
Very well, then I will. I look very much forward to the match tonight.
I think Jefferson is like slowly cluing in that there's something a bit strange about this conversation.
Yeah,
but also,
she's looking right into Jefferson's eyes in a sort of calm, serene, and absolutely, and you're not sure she's blinking all that much.
Jefferson kind of trails off into this awkward silence and then decides to just like blow it off for now and like claps you on the shoulder and like, haha,
Tell me,
living the gimmick. That's great. You got to get going.
please. Tell me about Lilith. She seems like a very interesting person.
I mean, what do you want to know? She's a great talent. She's going to make you look fantastic in the ring. What else do you need to know?
I want to know how to make her look good.
Well, from what I've heard, you're a big talent. I think those big high spots are going to look good. Lilith can do some good basing stuff for you. I don't know. You good on the mic?
I've been told I am, yes.
Yeah, I can see you have a certain intensity about you. I think that'll go over well. Lilith, the first woman in wrestling can be intense in her own way.
I have never had a manager, and I don't understand the relationship as much.
Well, I mean, you don't need to understand too much. I'll be there at ringside. I'll probably get involved in the finish somehow. I'll try and get the crowd booing. We'll get the crowd cheering for you, I guess.
Yes, of course, because you're a villain.
We call them heels around here, right? But yeah, that's right.
Oh, I understand. I'll use the proper language in front of the microphone.
Well, we don't really say heel in front of the microphone either. But I'm sure you know all this.
Yes, I am teasing you. But
he looks relieved.
I wanted to see what kind of person you were, since we have never met.
What have you decided?
I've decided that you are that you're an honest liar.
I'll take it.
We'll cut that scene as Retro. Where, Percolator, where does Retro find you?
I think I'm just like I'm on my phone. I'm doing my mental notes on this for Fort Worth, and I'm kind of wandering through the halls, and like we're real close to start time.
And Retro, is this on camera or off?
I think the first part is definitely off camera,
Okay.
and maybe an on-camera segment to promote the match if we need to. But this part will be off camera as Retro is trying to talk Stan into play.
Oops, you locked up.
Stan, I had a conversation with Marge backstage about what she wants to see out of plugging me into this mess to kind of offset Jefferson.
Okay, what do you mean offset? I don't understand. What do you mean offset?
Well, yeah, he's the manager, right? He's going to be like making a mess and interfering and like doing that thing to work the crowd up. So what she really liked the chemical thing that we ended up doing between me and him during our match last week, and I figure a good thing to do might be to kind of have him dealing with the wrestlers in the ring, like he and I will be playing off each other to sort of create that sort of sideshow that he and I do. You got Lilith, Goliath. You are the in-ring people that make them really light the wrestling up, and Jefferson and I are there to provide a little bit of background, background effects.
Retro. I like you fine. You're good, but don't tell me my business. Like, I've been in this a long time, so like maybe simmer down. We've got a baseline laid out. Yeah, you want to do your gimmicky things. You don't hit me with that shit, and we're all fine. Okay.
Okay, it's going to be the box outside, so just stay away from the box.
I'll stay away from your box. Okay. Just wrestling. Okay. You can play with your box. I'm all about the wrestling today.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thanks, Dan. You're a good dude. You're a good dude.
Oh man, this is gonna go so wrong.
And we're gonna cut from that to promos. Let's start with you, Percolator. I think you're revved up and ready to go. What do we got? Think it's an interview? Think it's a package?
I think it's I think a quick interview. Like I'm hustling towards the ramp. I'm ready to get down there, and I'm like, hey, here we go.
And Sippy comes running up, and she's got one of those long, skinny mics. Percolator, Sippy Cup's here. The fans want to know. This is going to be your second time going up against Goliath, but it's a tag match. What are your thoughts tagging with Dr. Retro?
I'm not worried about this. I can pull my weight. I can pull Dr. Retro's weight, and he'll throw in on this too. I had a good match last time against Jefferson. He's a skilled competitor. I say biting my tongue. Really gifted, natural athlete. But I kind of like, I saw him last time, so I know how he works. I've got that. But this Lilith, like I don't know. I don't know. She's got some skills. That's maybe where I'm a little more concerned. I know I have the years of training to make up for that. And Dr. Retro and I are going to absolutely, wipe the mat.
Well, Percolator, you're a former world champion.
That's
And-
right. That's right.
And I've been told that there's going to be a developmental league belt that's going to be entering into our promotion at our next show. Do you plan on going
did you
up
say
against it?
belt?
Yes, Percolator.
Oh yeah. March has told me about this already. We've already got plans laid out for me on this. We're looking forward to putting me in. I will take all comers. I'll work my way up from the bottom like I did years ago, and I will put my heel in the faces of these villains. I'll lift up my fellow wrestlers who deserve it, and I will take that belt.
You've heard it here, folks. The Percolator's on the way to the title. Let's roll that promo.
Okay, and that is with Look.
Yes, sir.
So that's a 7. That's a 7.
That's
Just-
not bad.
Just edging it. So I will. Oh gosh, just real quick.
Let's see. You've got they create a book in a match, add a stipulation to a match, gain a momentum or gain a heat. With you were pretty wide open on your promo. Who would you like a heat with if that's what you choose?
Oh. Yeah, I want more heat with Lilith.
All right. I think you well deserve it. So take a heat with Lilith. And since we've said the First Lady of Wrestling's name, I think we're going to cut over to a promo for you, Lilith. Now, is this going to be a package or an interview or what you think we got?
I have a wonderful idea. If Jefferson would like to, of course, speak for me. I think it's starting off sort of Reservoir Dog style, but you just hear the sound of fists slapping against flesh. And the screen's all black and it's slowly fading in. And Lilith is off center. She's like kind of off to the left. She's punching something. It just looks like she's punching with all her might, like she's hitting a punching bag, but it sounds too real. And Jefferson's like he'll like look over his shoulder every now and again, but give like the winces or the whatnot. Like, this is just something that looks off, but she's just focused. And then I'll give Jefferson free reign to pitch how well Lilith is going to do before I reveal the surprise.
All right. What are you saying, Jefferson?
Listen, last week, Dr. Retro, I cannot believe it, brought some sort of noxious chemical to ringside. I was unconscionably forced to ingest it. That was an occupational health and safety hazard. These idiots in this arena, they probably don't understand, but I'm a professional. I don't deserve this. So Lilith beat Dr. Retro once. That is not enough. This time, I want to see Dr. Retro hurt. I want to see him in pain. I want to see him in agony. So we have brought in a partner for Lilith. If you think Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, is dangerous on her own, wait till you see what she can do alongside Goliath. Dr. Retro, whatever secrets, whatever formulas, whatever fluids you're bringing to ringside this time, it won't help you. Because the first woman of wrestling always ends up on top.
What's the reveal, Lilith?
I think the reveal will depend on how well this promo goes. If I have a good one, depending on how if it goes well or not. So I'll roll with my manager's look. So thank you, Jefferson. Ooh, that is a 10. So I think as it pulls out, Lilith will reveal that like Goliath is standing there. If it's okay, Goliath, you're saying they're shirtless, and like she's been punching your abs the entire time, and there's like no bruises. Like you just look tough. You're not wincing, nothing. And then she'll look over at
eating a
Jefferson,
sandwich.
and then she'll look over at Jefferson when he talks about how teaming up with Goliath, and just give the thumbs up of he's approved. And with that 10, I will.
You get a momentum, and you get a choice there.
Yeah, I will take heat. Oh.
Worth noting, since Goliath is mentioned in this promo, you can take heat with Goliath, which can help in in a tag match, or you could take it with one of your opponents.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Goliath. I may be a bad tag team partner tonight, but I'm going to take it with. He called me out and said he showed me respect, and I've got to show that he's a real threat. I'm going to give it to Stan. I'm taking a heat with him.
Excellent. All right. Well, Goliath, we've got you standing there. Why don't we can go into your promo if you want to have it be something that's happening kind of with this. You could even, I don't know if you're thinking of having Jefferson as your manager. That's something you can decide if you want. Or we could go from like seeing this to a package if you want. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I've actually been taking some time to work with Dr. Retro as he was cutting out cardboard and things. Like I've been working with him to put together a thing that could be filmed where I don't have to talk. And I've been texting with my buddies who are still in college, trying to figure out what's hip, what's cool, what might get this crowd excited, and we'll see how the crowd reacts. But I think what it is it's like a cheap knockoff, but it uses all of the music and everything of the like Attack on Titan, and it just has Goliath. It just has Goliath just standing there, moving back and forth, but it plays the growling noises. And there's little fishing lines connected to him, and then little cardboard people flying feet forward towards him, and he just starts smacking them down towards the ground. Let's see if it gets the college kids excited.
All right, let's roll it up.
Also, I hope I don't get sued for copyright infringement.
That's for Marge to worry about.
All right.
Rolling with the look.
Man. So 6. 6 is what I got. So can I use a momentum on this?
You could. Yes, you could.
Let's
I will tell you,
too.
if you don't, I'm going to take an audience from you.
Well, maybe that's all right. Yeah, maybe this crowd isn't into it. I'll lose the audience.
All right, then. They are laughing at this package. It's up on the Stadium Titantron, and they are drunkenly laughing at what it looks like.
Yeah, it's not good. It didn't come across great.
We're going to shift over to you, Dr. Retro. Your promo, please.
Okay, the doctor is doing another backstage segment here, and we see him sort of putting together this ridiculous melange of plugged together PVC pipes that have been painted like fluorescent colors, and closing them up in this large it's probably like cardboard that's covered in tinfoil or something. But the doctor has really worked hard on getting bad lighting for this, so that it's really tough to tell exactly what he's putting in there. And I think our interview person,
Sippy Cups,
is walking into the lab and walks up behind him perfectly normally, but as she calls his name, he jumps.
Dr. Retro.
What?
You have a big match tonight, and you seem to be working on something here.
Oh, I am. You see, You see, last week, that dastardly, underhanded little Jefferson Inferno managed to steal my secret formula, which is proprietary, trademarked,
I see.
and used it without authorization in unsafe conditions, against any doctor's advice and against the warning label that was clearly on that test tube. There was no warning label on the test tube. That's just him saying that.
Are
Like
you thinking of legal action, Dr. Retro?
I'm considering it. We are considering it. But here's the thing. I have this week perfected a new design to make sure that Jefferson and his underhanded antics will not be able to change the course of this week's match. Mr. Steiger is a serious professional. He will be able to handle both Lilith and Goliath in the ring. He showed last week he could handle Goliath. I believe he can handle Lilith as well. And I believe this device that I have perfected will make sure that he is not a factor this week. So
very good, Doctor.
And just so we know, I want you to see right here, and he's like put a label. He's got this big painted sign on the side of this box with a large red button that specifically says, "Do not, under any circumstances, press this button, Jefferson," and it's written in like marker underneath, Jefferson.
Warning label is clearly apparent this time, Dr. Retro.
And I want you to note that for the record, Miss Cups. Now, and I want you, and I think everyone will appreciate what I in science have accomplished this week.
Yes, sir.
I will see you all out there. And I believe that this week, science and justice will prevail.
You heard it here, folks. Dr. Retro is going to handle the manager while the percolator fights both wrestlers.
Well, that's not really it. I'm still going to be wrestling it. So let me see how well this goes. Nope, hold on. I've lost the roll for me page. Give me a second to reload it. Okay, promo is rolled still with look, right?
Correct.
Okay, let's see how this goes. That is a 10. All right.
Fantastic. So you get a momentum and you get a choice here. Make creative book you in a match, add a stipulation to a relevant match, gain +1 momentum or gain +1 heat with the subject of your promo, which I think in this case would either be the percolator or Jefferson.
I think I'm going to take an extra heat with Jefferson because that'll put me up to 3 with him, and I'll only need 1 more to kick me up that 1 extra notch.
Excellent. All righty. Well, with that, we're going to have our intros, but on the table, we have you, Brandon. Are you going to be the Saint, or are you going to be you could be any sort of announcer you want?
That'll be the Saint.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting. And Jefferson, you're going to be starting at the announce table as the percolator has sort of laid down a little bit of you're not supposed to be at ringside, so you're up the ramp at the table at the moment.
I cannot believe the unprofessionalism from the percolator, supposed to be a veteran, but doesn't even understand the concept of a manager, too intimidated by the guidance that I bring to my athletes. But he will see that Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, does not need me by her side. We've talked about strategy, we've talked about tactics, we've talked about teamwork, and Santa Muerta, you're going to see exactly what Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, can do tonight.
How do you respond, Santa?
This will, let's see, I have to save something for my promo. The Lilith is a skilled fighter, but will she be able to overcome Sten? The Eye of Death sees all, but will hold back its information so that no one's entertainment is spoiled.
Ooh,
Good fights against evil always in the eternal struggle, and we will see who is to prevail.
Wonderful. So, quick thing with the tag team match, we have a move called a hot tag. You can make a normal tag. That's just tagging someone in. They come in, there's no problem. A hot tag, the concept is you're doing something that's teamworky or that is, supposed to give that kind of push that goes into it. So, and you will roll that with your heat with your tag team partner. So, Stan and Dr. Retro will be coming in intro first. Stan, what's it look like?
I'm going to apologize now because you're going to hear this all the time. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator. And I'm down. Cuts a little bit of that Back to the Future, like knockoff music we've got, little Huey Lewis in the News knockoff. And we come down. I make sure we come down together. And I'm like, what's up, 817? Oh, yeah. And the Phillies. All right.
Grid a little cheap heat. Take your momentum as the crowd is kind of hopping for you, Perk. They, they remember you are a former world champion. Dr. Retro coming in behind with your box in tow.
I think for Dr. Retro's cheap heat, he's actually got some of the couple of people with the jerseys of the local team to like pull the mysterious device down to ringside.
All right, so I think they're cheering you on. Take that cheap heat as you bring in the Phillies.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Is there no security backstage? How am I? I'm not allowed by the ring, but look at what the hell is that he's dragging down to the ring behind him?
I believe you might just call that an infernal device, Jefferson.
And I think now is when the music hits. Lilith, what's the music?
I actually have a different song. I think this is going to be, we've already worked a tag team entrance if Goliath is okay with my idea. But I found this song, which is starts at the time frame or time thing. But I think Goliath is dressed like his gladiator or kind of outfit. And Lilith is sitting on his shoulder in a like a oracle's toga. And he carries her down to ringside, like with this song playing. She's like she would be waving, but instead she's just flipping off the crowd, and he's holding on to her. I think, like, with his free hand, he's like maybe following around or giving like another insulting symbol, like maybe even like when they get down to the ring. I want him to like set her in the ring. And like go over to the table, get a mic for her, and she will tell to the audience, it's great to be in Fort Worthless and see so many drunken frat boys and idiotic sorority girls who had nothing better to do and no parties to go to. Let's welcome the lamest losers in the college and their parents.
Ooh, there's booze galore. Take that cheap heat. Goliath, what do we see? You placed Lilith up there. What do we see it from you?
I think we see very little. He's actually still wearing the like helmet thing, and he's just standing there like imperiously, like with his arms crossed at ringside. And anybody who like boos too loudly near him, he just like turns in their direction.
Ooh, gotcha. All right.
There is a move I need to make. It's my appearance at my first entrance of my reputation. So I will roll it. That is an 8. I get a momentum, but I will lose this momentum if I do not spend it before a botch.
Gotcha. And that is your reputation move. Excellent. All right. I think we're going to see the percolator starting off. Is that right? And out of Goliath, yeah.
I would actually love it if I could ask for Lilith to be the first in the ring.
You're gonna
Do you
try and
mind?
point and call her out?
Yeah, which I'm like pointing at Lilith.
I think she'll rip off the toga, and underneath is like Amazon leather armor, which is just a bodysuit with like a little loincloth kind of thing.
All right, Goliath, you okay with Lilith starting the match? All right. So we get Lilith and the percolator in to start the match. And Perk, do you have a start of match move?
Yeah, I come out, I come to the center of the ring, and I get myself set, and I do that thing where I put my hand out for the shake, for the sportsmanship shake. There, I got that move I took.
Mm-hmm. Lilith, what you think? He's offering the hand of friendship here.
Lilith will look at it, look back at Jefferson, see him shaking his head. She'll like give this kind of nonchalant shrug, like she's defeated. She has to, and she'll offer her hand out to the percolator to shake.
Let me roll with real. Ooh, so you can come at me before our hands touch, and you get 2 momentum, Lilith.
Oh, I think I will come at you at and I think this starts off the match with the failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like, Jefferson's saying no kind of thing, and then Lilith will grab the percolator's hand, then squeeze like she's crushing it, and then drag him in and just headbutt him as the start of the match.
Lovely. And you picked up 2 momentum, and you have the you have the initiative here. And Santa, what do you say when you see this happen?
Lilith begins with treachery, as she will also end.
Nice.
It's
All
a phenomenal, phenomenal and loathsome display of her base and inner nature.
Lovely. Lilith, what you go into?
Yeah, I think the percolator is kind of selling the dizziness of the headbutt. She will I think like throw a gut punch or throw a gut slap at him, or a chest slap, and then like as he reels back, she'll do a spinning sobat into his gut again, and keep working the midsection as he bends over from the sobat. She'll go behind him, do a quick I think a quick suplex as the first real move of the cell. And
all
I think
right,
that's probably either work for the entire scene or power for the suplex.
What you think? Sounds like work to me.
Okay,
But,
I will take that as a higher stat.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like work over that.
I will spend the 1 momentum I have that would disappear if this was a botch.
Okay.
We push that to a 7.
Okay. You can retain control and go into a new sequence, or pick up another momentum and hand over control.
I think since I'm at 5 momentum, I'm going to keep control of the match at this moment. And she slams the percolator down with this suplex.
I'm going to ask Perk, this wasn't a perfect throw here. What was wrong? What was a little off on this throw?
I think the count was a little short. That I wasn't, and I probably came down a little bit off from that, and I kind of took a little bit of the wind out of me, and I'm like, do the full count, come on.
Yeah, I think she also he did jump into it, but she's trying to show off, and almost like flipped over or something. So yeah.
Okay. So
And
what
then-
sequence you going into now, Lilith?
I think the percolator's on the ground. She will do the heel thing of like a few stomps to the ground until the ref pulls them back, and I think the ref like literally like pushes them away from each other, and Lilith will run into her push as she turns around, runs to the ring. The edge of the ring, I think, has like Goliath hold out his hand, but doesn't tag as he just like lifts her up to the top of the turnbuckle. And she will do I think it's a flying Stenton onto the percolator.
Oh, Senton, yes.
Stenton, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
So the big flip onto it. Mm.
Yeah, and I think that's probably look.
I think we could either do that or we might could go heat with Goliath
Ooh, I would accept that.
because you're working together.
Yeah.
I got to brace myself, get ready.
Very dangerous move. How'd you roll?
Ooh, very badly. And
Oof.
I think it's PBTA. I've got to let, unless someone wants to put me over, I've got to let this fail.
All right. It's awfully early for a put over.
Yeah, I am fine with failing at this moment right here.
All right.
This might
then.
be like why Jefferson knows he needs to get down ringside.
Then I think as you come off, Perk, you can see that she's not getting that full rotation. I'm giving you the option here. You going to take the injury to get underneath her, or are you going to let her land a little rough and take the injury yourself?
I'm going to take the injury.
Oh,
And I think that's going to trigger my put over.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
So I can see I'm going to do everything I can to catch her, even if it's going to knock me down. I will mark the injury and I'm going to roll work for put over. And my work is again 1.
And worth noting, when injured, you have an injury move that you could pull out of any match you're booked into without repercussion, but you gain +1 momentum when you don't. So that'll be going forward.
I'm going to burn both my momentum.
Okay.
Take that to a 7 to 9.
Oof.
And Lilith, one of us gets an audience and the other loses an audience. You get to pick. And I am absolutely fine if you take the audience.
I am going to be very selfish here
Yes.
because I think
Crush me.
thank you for injuring yourself for my ascent or descent in this case.
And that helps you out too a little there, Perk, because you needed the drop. So, Perk, you took that injury, but you've got control of the match.
I'm just so hurt. I've got to desperately making my way to the corner. I'm going to try and do the hot tag.
All right,
Dr. Retro, to get him in here. You got to help me, Dr. Retro. I don't know if I can make it.
All right. So rolling with for a hot tag, that's with heats.
What's my heat with you is just a 1. So let's see how well or badly this goes. Hey!
Nice. So on a 10+,
awesome.
Tag is made, and you get
awesome.
You get a double team opportunity here. The legal wrestler. Let's see. Everyone on your team gets +1 momentum.
Okay.
And your teammate will retain control. Dr. Retro, what's it look like, this kind of combo thing that happens here? What do you do?
I think when like Stan staggers over, he makes the hot tag, and Dr. Retro amazingly is coming in with a head of steam, which is highly unusual for him. Normally this is not his style. But he is infuriated at the dastardly actions of of Lilith at the beginning of this match, just disdaining the hand of sportsmanship, and he comes in and he's just like firing what looks like a lot of really sadly ineffectual punches. Like Dr. Retro is not a big guy. Lilith is definitely looks a lot tougher than him, as he's there in his little makeshift tights and silly little like costume store lab coat, but he is like, just from sheer speed and number of flailing punches, staggers her back into the ropes, and Irish whips her back over. Stan, who's still in the ring, ducks down, and she goes over him, and she comes back. He goes down again, and Retro basically hits with a rolling forearm that doesn't take Lilith down, because his moves aren't going to do that, but does stagger her as she turns around, and then Stan flattens her with a lariat as he goes out, goes out under the ring, and it leaving Dr. Retro in the ring with Lilith.
All right, what's that sound like? You think that sounds like working together with Heat, or do you think that that was more look? What do you think?
I mean, that sounds like Heat to me. Like
sounds like Heat to me.
Yeah, it's either Heat with am I rolling Heat with Stan or Heat with Lilith? Okay.
Sounded like you were comboing with Stan there, so I'll go with him.
Okay, that's worse for me, but still cool. All right, so that would be
Jeffersons. What have you got to say as you see this kind of turnabout?
What is wrong with the referee? This blatant cheating. I have never seen such an outrageous disregard for the rules in all my time of professional wrestling. Santa, what do you say to something like that?
And I rolled a 6, and I've got plenty of momentum, so I'm going to spend a point to get that up to a 7 to 9.
Excellent.
And I say, look at the funny man. Isn't he wonderful?
How am I supposed to work?
How can you not laugh?
Beautiful. All right.
You see him? Did you see him trying to punch with his tiny little fists?
7 to 9. You can either retain control or you can gain a momentum and turn over control. What you doing?
I think Dr. Retro is going to retain control right now. So he basically is honestly kind of surprised that all that worked out as well as it did. So he basically goes immediately, does something really silly, and goes up to the top rope, and tries to come off with a diving leg drop, as Lilith's been hopefully knocked a little bit loopy by that clothesline.
All right. That sounds like work.
Yeah, which isn't his best, but he's going to try.
All right, roll it up.
That is a 7.
All right. Gonna hang on to control, or are you gonna take the bow?
I think he's going to hand it off, and basically what he's going to do is he hits the leg drop, he scrambles over for a pin, and Lilith just sort of tosses him off, and that's when he turns over control and takes the extra momentum.
All right, Lilith, you took that leg drop from the top rope. You've been hit on a little bit here, but you have control.
Yeah, do we want a hot tag Goliath, or just a insulting regular tag?
I think if you got an idea for an insulting regular tag, that's great. I've got an idea for a hot tag though.
Okay. Insult. If we want to go insulting, it'll just be very simple. But what's your idea for the hot tag?
Well, like if he's like coming after you still, you can come over like you're gonna tag, and I'll just beam him with the helmet.
Oh,
that sounds like it's up his alley. I think they're to put Dr. Retro over a bit. I think Lilith throws him off, and but they both kind of kip up at the same time, to show sort of a little bit of athleticism, and then Dr. Retro they go in for that grapple, and then Lilith from the last match, Lilith smacks him, but he's like ready this time. He like backhands her, and she looks really shocked. And he like, throws another slap. She ducks. He like throws another like a kick at her. She dodges. Like it's just like this kind of like chasing match until she realizes she kind of like it just runs over to Goliath and will attempt the hot tag. And he's like chasing her around the match like Pepe Le Pew.
All right, so we've got Retro kind of charging in as you tried this hot tag, rolling with heat. Santa, what are you saying as we see this happening?
I say, so this is you're chasing him around and before you do the tag. Yes. She says, oh, what a shame it is that someone so beautiful and deadly should be so wicked in her heart.
Beautiful. How is the roll?
I got an 8, so I will transfer one of my momentum to Goliath as he gets to bean Dr. Retro in the head with a helmet and step into the ring.
Okay, I'm going to ask Goliath, what's happening with the ref that he doesn't see you bean poor old Dr. Retro with the helmet?
I think he's finally gotten interested in this box and is like looking at it. Like, what's this button about? Like, why are there a little bit of smoke coming out of the seams?
So the ref's looking over at the foreign object outside the ring there and not paying attention as the foreign object there at the ring clangs into poor Retro's head. And you step over the rope and into the match. What you gonna do?
So I've got control right now.
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah. So I think Retro is you know a little dazed, and I come over and I just kind of lift him a little bit onto his toes so that he can still tippy toe, and push him back towards the ropes. So he's supposed to kind of go back against the ropes, and then we do that like a couple times, like I'm almost dribbling a basketball. And then the third time he has to run to make sure this works right. And I do something that's unlike myself. And I crouch down real low and let him kind of lean over my shoulder. And then I stand up to my full height. So he'll get a flop,
Ooh, big backed body drop. Nice. Do you think this is power, or do you think you're doing like a feat of strength? I think this is a power move, or it could be you're working with Retro.
I think this is actually probably working with Retro.
Okay.
We'll probably have some power here in a minute, but I think this one is like a choreographed thing.
Okay. Roll with your heat. Jefferson, what you saying? Shake.
12. We got 12.
Okay, no. Did you freeze on a shame for a moment there, I think?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's cool. We'll come back to a comment in a moment then. Big 12, that is a huge successful move. So you're going to retain control, and you get your choice of 2 momentum or 1 heat.
I'll take the momentum.
All right.
So I've got control. He just got flopped onto his back.
Yeah, there's a huge whomp as he hits the mat. The crowd is probably booing, since you're the heel. What you move into?
Yeah, I think I'm just walking around the ring like what? What's your problem? What? And then I'll pick up the helmet and like throw it out into the audience.
All right.
And I'm just working it up. And I think Dr. Retro like gets up at some point and comes up behind me, and he has to like hop to kind of get his arms around my shoulders and arms from behind. But this is this isn't gonna go well. And I just jump and land on my back with him underneath me.
Ooh, ouch. That sounds like power.
Yeah. That's a big jump. Let's see how that goes. Woohoo, boxcars.
Fantastic.
So that does my special thing. One of the biggest athletes in the world today. First time you make a move on Cammy in an episode and hit on a 10+.
you
Oh,
will
no, that happened last time, huh?
Yeah, it happened on that last move, but it still goes off.
Still goes off. Plus
so
an
you
audience.
pick up an audience, which had you
Yep.
dropped down to 3.
I had dropped down to 3.
Oh, look at you popping back up to 4. You're going to be advancing all over the place. The giant does that. I love the giant. And with this last one, you've managed a 10 plus, so you retain control. You can either get heat or momentum. 2 momentum or 1 heat.
We'll do heat this time. So I roll off of him, and I think he's laying there, you know.
Yeah, you selling Retro? What's it look like? How did you fall there? And now the giant getting off.
Oh, Retro sold it like every little guy falling off the back of every giant has ever done it. Like his legs kick in the air, like he bounces an extra couple of times on the mat once he hits, and like, you know, after, and he sells that backdrop that he did where Goliath landed on him. Like he sells that like death. He's pancaked out, arms spread.
Beautiful.
Like until Goliath picks him up.
All right, Goliath,
Yeah.
what you doing?
I leave him there on the ground, and I walk over to the ropes right where Percolator's at, and I'm like staring at him, and I like point at him, but then I'm like gonna climb up on the ropes like I'm gonna do a big jump. I'm hoping this one's more stable, but I want to see if the Percolator gets goaded into something here.
Oh no, I'd say. Will no one help that poor little man?
Perk, if you're muted low, yeah.
I will spend my 2 points and do my baby face move. And I think it is that I kind of reach up like with my injured shoulder arm and like grab onto you to stop you. And then I'm like, and I think I leave you speechless as I cry out in pain and kind of collapse to the corner of the ring. But I've stopped you from falling on my tag team partner.
Oh,
That's too
I
momentum.
would like to spend a moment to interrupt now. Well,
all right.
the Goliath is sort of like, you know, distracted on the top rope. Retro, you know, seeing Stan's valiant effort, is goaded back once more to wakefulness, and he leaps up, you know, flailing in that excited little man way, scrambles up onto the top rope, grabs Goliath, and in what can only be described is just, you know, the simplest exercise of physics ever, leaps up and Hurricane Rana's Goliath off the top rope.
Oh my word. All
And
right.
I think this has got to be a heat move. Like we had to have practiced this to make this work.
I think, yeah. I don't know if you could do it without Goliath's permission. All right.
Absolutely not.
Roll that heat.
Okay. Okay, that is a 7. So I think it's going to go off, but basically Retro will take the momentum back off of that and turn over control, because I think that's going to take as much out of Retro weirdly as it does out of Goliath. Like he had gotten flattened before, so he sells it as basically that was just a surge of adrenaline, and he is just panting on the ground as he's crawling towards the corner to try and pull himself back upright.
Jefferson, what do you say to seeing this massive thing happen?
I mean, first, just you've got to sell the big impact. Like, what a maneuver! But my God, ref, they're still double teaming my guys. I think I gotta be down at ringside. I can't watch this anymore. I'm pulling off the headphones and I'm running surreptitiously working my way down the aisle.
Excellent.
Wait, you can't just leave like this. It's not fair.
So you get down there, and as you reach ringside, that is when the ref has come up and informed you, Goliath, and you, Dr. Retro, that Percolator's supposed to get this win.
Good. As I'm coming up and Retro is like winded from his maneuver, I just stand right back up like it's nothing. I like shake my finger at him as he's still trying to get his strength, and I slip under the ropes and I grab the Percolator and I'm like, did you not like I whisper to him, I'm like, did you not remember? And like I like toss him over the ropes, like, oh, his good shoulder up so it won't land on it. But I'm like gonna climb back in, and like I'm in control, but I'm making it look like, you know, they're getting the better of me, but I've like demanded this fight from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like letting them like grapple me, and like it's like the two of them. It takes the two of them to take me, but I asked for this fight, so the ref hasn't gotten involved.
All right. So
And
that sounds like Look, maybe.
Yeah, it's either that or working with them. Probably Look though.
It could be working the audience.
Or it could be, if you want, a feat of strength when you threw him in there.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
We haven't done that one. So rolling with power.
8.
All right. It takes a little effort, but you gain a momentum, and your opponent are creative. And I'll say, in this case, of course, it's the opponent. Percolator. You do it with obvious difficulty and the audience notices, or you put yourself at risk of injury, or you put them at risk of injury. What happened with that?
So we had injury last time on you, and I had just had an injury. So I do think it is that, like, it does not look good, because I was legit like thinking maybe I just let him have a conversation with Retro and let him take it because of my injury. But like once you grab me, I'll do it. But we're off. I don't think it looks great.
All right. That means you lose an audience, Goliath. All right. Jefferson, you've gotten down to the box. What's happening with the box? What's in the box?
So I'm doing some drawing with the referee, like telling him to, stop looking at me, get your eyes on the match. Goliath's about to pin that Percolator. And then, as the referee tries to sort of monitor what's going on, I'm having some full like pantomime shtick with the crowd in the front row about whether or not I'm going to push this button. They're screaming at me. I'm yelling back at them. And then I'm going to work up to like setting off the smoke machine and the smudge powder and all of that.
All right. Yes.
And I'll be willing to spend 2 momentum to make that my babyface move, is basically leaving Jefferson speechless as the smoke machine it goes off like it's supposed to, and leaves him coughing and sputtering and
Jefferson, roll work the audience. I think this is a work the audience move.
Oh, let's see. Oh, that's a 6. I think I'll spend 1 momentum to bring it up to a 7.
All right. And working the audience with a 7.
I mean, that would just get me.
It gets you your momentum back.
So yeah, I'll get me my momentum back.
All right.
I'm okay with that.
As the smoke kind of fills up in the crowd, is sort of pointing, and they take a pop off this. They like seeing this thing going on. Percolator, how are you going to manage to get Goliath and win this match?
Can't change the book.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, please.
I have a move that lets me interfere regardless of the booking to win the match for my client. So, I mean, what were you going to be setting up?
I think I was just trying to get myself into position to drop Goliath, but I'll take whatever you want.
So you go bust Marge's booking?
I mean, We'll see how this goes. But this is so I've got to try and win it for my client. So I'm not sure what the tagging situation is, who's legal at the moment, but definitely like gesticulating.
I think retro's legal technically, but Stan's supposed to get the pin. Is my understanding of the book.
Yeah, Goliath has pulled me
Oh.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a 2-man situation right this second.
Yeah, I think Percolator's like basically about to get the pin, and it's supposed to look like I reach out, like I'm supposed to get the tag, but I'm not supposed to get the tag. But something you do makes it so that that tag happens when it wasn't supposed to, and then
Maybe
Percolator
so.
has to deal with Lilith or something.
Lilith?
Yeah, I think that maybe the way you can maneuver with this, like you have this box that's just bellowing smoke. Like when the people come out, you throw the box in the ring, so the smoke envelops all the wrestlers as the tag thing is going in.
It's a thought, but it is your
But
move,
yeah.
Jefferson. So what
do
you
you want to
doing?
do, Jeff?
I think that's cool. So the smoke is up in the ring. Jefferson, as he flails around, like somehow ends up like up on the apron. And as the smoke starts to clear, once again, it's the orange mist right in the face of the percolator. And
Oh, all right.
reeling back towards the left.
Then this would be meal tickets.
Yeah, so
It's
it's just a straight 2d6.
It sure is. You can use
love that.
momentum after the roll.
Well, that's an 8. I think that I'll use 2 momentum to bring that up to a 10 plus.
All right. Tell me then what it looks like that somehow the wind goes to your team.
Well, I'm just setting it up with the orange mist in the eyes, percolator, flailing, falling backwards, probably right into Lilith's finisher.
Ooh, okay. You think we've had a tag happen? Lilith comes in, and you have the choice here, Jefferson, of choose whether you gain an audience or whether your client does.
I'm giving Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, the audience for this one. I'm going to set her up for that championship belt. Oh, sorry, Lilith.
All
I would
right.
suggest you get the audience this time for your interference, because if my finisher goes off as I expect it to, I will be getting an audience anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
what you
want my
want.
manager to eat well because
All
you're
right.
doing fun. But
Into your finisher. What's it look like, Lilith?
if I may, I think Percolator gets knocked back into Lilith, and the Dr. Retro is in the ring, so she normally saves this finisher for other ladies of wrestling, but since both men are in, she grabs their arms from different sides and will jump into a double cross driver where she's grabbing a Percolator's good arm, because otherwise this would have really hurt him, and Dr. Retro's good arm, but then goes sideways and slams him backwards as she spins.
Oh, excellent. And dropping onto him for the pin. Roll up that finisher. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh dear, here we go. That is a 7, so I will burn 3 momentum of my 4 to push it to a 10.
All right. So with a 10, you hit your finisher clean, gain an audience. And I think you can see, Jefferson, up at the top of the ramp. You can see Marge looking out of the curtains, and she does not look amused. And the crowd is booing. Santa, what are you saying as the crowd is throwing a fit here?
Oh, Dad, I can scarcely bear to look. To see this figure of evil pouncing on Stan, who's bravely fighting while injured. It is just too horrible a spectacle to watch.
Wonderful. As
the audience plant that I threw the helmet at throws it back, and
you get it and rush back to the back.
Yeah, I put it on and then like raise my hand, like standing next to Lilith.
All right. Well, we are here at 8:00. We got 30 minutes. Do we need a short bio or can we push through? How are people feeling? Want a quick bio?
I would like
Yeah.
to like 2 minutes.
All right.
Also, I think that a couple of us, Goliath and I, are also going to bump up to audience 4 because we were
Correct. Anybody who has a heat of 4 with someone that was in this match, which basically means everyone but Brandon, would go up another audience. Now, this is very quick.
Yep.
Who is at 4 audience right now before we do the heat thing? You were Lilith. Lilith, you will get your advance. Now, who has heat that takes them to 4 audience now? You 3 now pop up to 4. Lilith, you drop down to 3. You 3 will get an advance, and you will all be in the over spot at this moment. And we're going to take like 2 minutes and be right back. Boom. So we're coming in right after this tag match. People are starting to head to the back as Marge comes over to you, Santa Marta. She says, I am not happy at all with what's just happened here. You're going up against Lilith. Make her pay for what's happened here. And
Why, well, Margaret, whatever do you mean?
she broke the book here. I want you to show. We're going to have her be taken down a little peg here. Do your thing. Look great.
Oh, have no fear.
And
I always will.
And as Lilith and Jefferson, you come back up the ramp, her eyes narrow at you. Jefferson, you busted my book.
Marge, it's what the audience were crying out for. Did you see the heat at the end of that match?
I needed Perk to be strong so this feud could continue. Now he's down 2. This is why.
Marjabelle, you trusted me with this manager. You trusted him with his work. Trust. They'll look good eventually. And your boy, he looked brilliant. Now I've got to get to some of my other costume real quick and she'll jog off.
Marge sort of huffs. Yes, Jefferson.
I mean, if you want to build up Stan again with a strong win over a heel who the audience really hates, I think I'm ready. I could do it.
She takes a moment and you see a smile creep across her face. And she says, yeah, Jefferson, maybe next week we will think about that. Lowell, you're muted.
Santa Muerte pats Jefferson on the cheek. And she says, oh, you sweet, charming man.
Lowell?
Marge, look, a little hit dropped me bad. I had to take that hit when we come off the ropes. Put somebody else on the mic for the announce table because I got to go ice this or else it's going to stiff up. Okay.
Go take care of yourself, Perk. I'm sorry, Perk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe put Retro or Goliath on there. They both. Maybe Retro's got a better voice, but Goliath he needs a turn at it. Okay.
Don't worry. Take care of yourself.
Okay.
And we're going to head into Santa Marta. What's your promo look like for getting into this match? Do we have a package, like something filmed beforehand? Yes.
We have something filmed beforehand. And it has, so there is the camera opens on a cathedral and then cuts inside to images of God and the devil, in paintings inside. And you hear the voiceover that says, good versus evil, the eternal battle. And then there is a sudden jump cut to Santa Muerte in full out, regalia. He says, the evil will not prevail as long as I am here. You can depend upon it. And there's very portentous music that goes with it.
Nice.
They may win a battle, but they will lose the war. Santa Muerte swears it.
Perfect. Let's roll. You're rolling your promo. So with look.
Not a good roll.
Oof. All right. That's a 4. I don't know if you have any momentum to help with.
not 3, I don't.
No. Okay.
I just got started.
Okay. I think that I think my best bet on this one is that we get the package, but they don't, there's so much craziness going on after this match that they don't hit stop after it's over. And so we then get a carry through into kind of this backstage piece that had been Retro's earlier in the run. So we see a piece of Retro working on putting his box together and everything, and we hear Sippy go, "Are you ready? You think?" And 1 minute, and before they can cut it, and the crowd kind of laughs, and it costs a bit of the drama that was going to be Santa Muerte's big intro here. And I think, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to lose. You're gonna have to lose an audience.
Start.
Starting hard. Sorry. But we're going to have our intro. Lilith, what's it look like as you come intro?
She is covered in a sheen of sweat, but I think because of her previous match, but I think this time she comes out and stands when I'm so begins playing. She begins posing with the I'm so adjective, I'm so this. And then when, like she said, when it comes like the I'm so important, Jefferson steps out, dabs her head with a towel, and then throws the towel into the crowd that's like, covered in her sweat as an insult, but we hope it's an insult. And she will walk to the ring and just I think with like grab the mic and real quick just say, Santa Muerte may be death, but I am Lilith, the first woman of wrestling. I am life, I am birth, and life will always triumph.
All right, I'll let you do a work the audience with that.
Okay.
So rolling with audience.
Gods, I needed that audience. That's a 7.
Ooh, yeah, you did. So you can either gain 1 momentum or you can be in control of the match when it starts.
I'll take momentum because I think Santa Muerte needs to be in control.
I agree. So Lowell, do you not want to be on the table? Doesn't have to be Percolator.
Oh no, I would like to actually see like Retro and Goliath on the table.
Well, it could be David and Chris. Will have you on the table. David, who do you want to be? Is it Goliath or is it somebody else?
I think that they dress up Goliath, but they don't his voice is wrong for his character, so they never it's never Goliath at the table, even though it's Hank.
Gotcha.
And people who are looking at the man in the hat are like, oh, I think I recognize him.
Yeah, there's that almost 7 foot tall guy. All right, and Chris, is it Dr. Retro or is it somebody else?
Oh, I think it's probably going to be the doctor.
All right.
He's out there. He's still in his ring gear and lab coat, and still sort of he's looking a little smudged from the smoke and everything. still coughing a little bit and like, dusting himself off theatrically at the table.
Excellent. All righty. Santa Muerta, what does the entrance look like?
The entrance is to the music of to a saraband, this grand, slow, majestic dance. And Santa Muerte is, as I've mentioned before, she is in this gorgeous red gown, except that her hands and feet, of course, are skeletal. And a beautiful hat with a parasol, and she is moving slowly and elegantly down the aisle. And as she's doing so, she is reaching out to bless anyone who wants that.
I think you get a crowd that's coming up, and I think you've got enough of a reputation from your time in Mexico. We're in Texas, so there is a contingent of folks who are fans from your stints down in Mexico. So you're getting a pop. I'll give you cheap heat on that. So take one momentum for it. And we're going to start the match. Hank, what are you saying there on the table?
We got an interesting match for the folks here today in Fort Worth. We got the dark side over here fighting the light over here. But is it really a fight between light and dark, or is it more just a fight for the win? Is it more just about this kind of woman coming after this kind of woman? See who's better.
I see why Hank is not
All
on the
this
table all the time.
commentary.
And Retro, how do you respond?
And Richard just sort of like dusts himself a little and looks up. Well, I think really, think that the question here is, if it's a battle between light and darkness, which one is light and which one is darkness? Because I'll tell you, I've never encountered a darker heart than that Lilith, and her little blight of a manager, Jefferson trademark infringing Inferno. I think I just hope they get a comeuppance one day. Maybe it'll be tonight.
Santa Marta.
Yeah, you're right. That's a better way of putting it. Are you sure the percolator can't be up here? Come on, Marge.
All right, Santa Marta, you are going to be starting in control of the match. What do we see as our first sequence here?
So the first sequence is a slap to a roundhouse kick, to a I don't remember the name of it. It is a she leaps at Lilith, turns in the middle, and goes down on top of her. So it's sort of a flying rear splash.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Sounds like work.
It does.
I mean, sequence of moves there. I think that's work.
It is an 8.
All righty. So with an 8, you can keep control, or you can pick up a momentum and hand off control.
I will take a momentum and hand off control. I think Lilith rolls out of it, and we both hop to our feet.
All right,
square off again.
Lilith, you've taken that lick, but you're back up on a vertical base. How do you respond? What do we see?
Yeah, Lilith, I think is kind of grinning. Will lock up with Santa Muerte, and I think like there's this back and forth. It's like they're straining to like shield Lilith be lifted off her feet a little bit, but then slam down. Santa Muerte will be lifted off her feet a little bit and slam down. Then finally, they both rear back and headbutt each other with this kind of like a synchronized dance. And then like they both reel back from the headbutt with their dominant arm, reach out for a synchronized chest slap, hit that, and then At the final bit, they will, I think, both like go to the opposite ends of the ring, then do running clotheslines, and then just both end up on their backs as it just looks like they're too equal right now.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Do we
So
think
it's
that's work?
Heat.
Heat. All right.
This is heat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll roll with +2. So let's get that down. That is a 6. I will push that up with 1 momentum, take momentum back, and give control over to Santa Muerte.
Okay. So far, we're seeing an even match. What are you saying there, Dr. Retro?
Oh, you see, this is classic. See, this is what you can get when two wrestlers are willing to go head to head and just be willing to throw it all out on the mat. And you see how well this goes, how classic a matchup this is when that little weasel Jefferson State keeps his trademark infringing nose out of it.
What do you say, Hank?
Oh yeah, sure. It's terrific. Yeah.
All right, Santa, what are you doing?
So Santa Muerte is going to do one of her well-known moves, which is called Death from Above. And she bounces herself off the ropes, does a handspring, which turns into an inverted flying leg scissors.
Ooh.
And a bent knee, hard slam to.
Nice. That sounds like work to me. That's very technical. Unless you're saying it's a look move because you're signaturing.
No, and I'm going to spend 2 momentum. I'm going to spend 2 momentum to make this look great.
Ooh, very nice. That take you up to a 10+.
Yes.
You retain control, and you can either choose to take some heat or 2 momentum.
I think the heat is what we want.
Good choice. And you still have control.
because this is she and Lilith go down with a tremendous crash. So then she squares off against Lilith, and they grapple each other for a moment, back and forth, and then she breaks free of Lilith and goes between Lilith's legs in a dive move, comes up behind Lilith with a crooked arm, a neck takedown.
Ooh, kind of an underleg sling blade. That's kind of neat. Sounds like, what are we thinking there? Or have we gone into a move? Feel like that's another work move?
I guess so. I mean, Thunder Muerte's, repertoire is overwhelmingly, very
Technical.
athletic stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what she's good at. But although I have and that hits a 10.
Excellent. You can take another heat, or you could get 2 momentum.
We'll take the momentum this time. And I hit a 10+ on a high flying move, so I get an audience.
Nice.
It's the high one person highlight reel. Human
Very
highlight reel,
nice.
that's what it's called.
And Jefferson, what are we seeing from you outside the ring?
Yeah, I think that Jefferson is really distracted from his attempts to support Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, by just getting into these drawing exchanges back and forth with Dr. Retro at the table. Definitely a lot of threats of legal action, that my daddy's law firm is going to ruin you. I can't believe you brought these explosives. But hang on, I've got to get. I'll catch up with you later. And then rushing back to cheer on Lilith.
Wait, you sure you don't want to get on the mic?
All right. Lilith, keep in mind that you can interrupt at any moment, but right now, Santa Muerte, it is still your action.
So Santa Muerte now pauses for a moment, and she looks Lilith dead in the eye with all the force of her gaze. And she says, "Repent now, wicked one, before it's too late."
Ooh, you work in the crowd, you think?
I think it's working the crowd. Yes,
All
and
right.
and handing the initiative to Lilith if she chooses to take it.
Yeah.
That's the like a
So
classic technical move, right?
working with the audience, that's roll with audience.
Okay. We have a 9 this
All right.
time.
All right. Do you wish to take it up or no?
Well, since I get the momentum back, yes, I'm going to kick it up to 10.
All right.
Because let's hear them. Yes.
All
So
right.
yes.
So you get 2 momentum, so a net of 1. But Lilith, you have control of the match.
Lilith, I am well, I will ask before I do this. I want to pull off a dirty trick. And is Santa
absolutely.
Murta, are you okay with me working real stiff in this match?
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. I think Lilith is actually angry at being like literally like sort of thrown around like a rag doll for the previous mounts of this match, and probably like looks up at the top of the ring, like sees Marge like smoking or something, looking all content. So then Lilith will do what Marge is not expecting and get down on her knees like she's kneeling, hold out her hands like she's about to be baptized. And as Santa Muerte comes over, she will then reel back a haymaker and punch her in the gut.
Oh, all right. Working stiff. That's roll with real.
I don't know what you call that move, Dr. Retro, but that didn't look like wrestling to me.
To save this, I am spending all my momentum to put it to a 10. I mean,
All
a 7, not a 10. Yeah. And
so you get to choice 2 there.
Yeah, I get a choice of 1 because I moved to a 7, not a
unless
anyone wants to boost me up to a 10 with a put over, but I don't need it. I will put it up to Santa Muerte. Do you want an injury, or do you? I think that would be the better thing, because the other one would be like losing an audience.
I think that's more interesting. Yeah, so you connect solidly, and she goes back down and hard for real, and she turns it into a backward somersault, but you can tell that, but she has one hand on her stomach as she's coming out of it.
Ooh.
And you can tell that she really took a shot. Dr.
Retro, what do you say? You might can see this is a shoot. You've been around.
Yeah, that looked like a straight punch. Like that was not there was no pull in that. And I think Retro sort of glances up in Marge's direction, and he's also chatting up to my guess. He's looking seriously at Marge. You see, this is why you can't trust Lilith or that her little trademark infringing buddy. You can't trust them, because just when you offer them something good, you offer them a chance to do better, to be better, they pull stuff like that. You can't trust them. You see, you put your property inside your coat at ringside, and what happens? Somebody steals it, and then they try to blame you when they fail to follow the instructions and use it improperly.
You see Marge looking down at the ring, and she kind of lifts up a finger, and you see her do this, keeping an eye on the ref, who looks over and moves in, kind of doing a separate the two of you, as he says, let's bring this thing home. Muerta, you're supposed to win.
Are you all right with that?
Lilith, I think like it will be kind of like a get in your face, and then but whisper to you with dead seriousness. You're not a mother, and I doubt you'll ever be. Do what you need to do.
Oof. Ooh.
I'm a protector of children, and you don't know me at all, she says very coldly, and she's never been cold until this time. But you'll start to. And she she starts a sequence that that begins with an elbow smash.
And you're going into your finisher here.
Yes, it's a telegraphed one. I mean, it's, you know, and she pushes Lilith against the ropes, and does an over the shoulder flip, and then she goes. And then she, as Lilith lands, she is down on top of her, in a leg choke. So she has, you know, one leg underneath Lilith and one on top of Lilith's neck. And she is doing her move called "Shh, it's all right." She's holding her hand to this, and she's going, "Shh," you know, holding up the other hand as she applies pressure until Lilith taps out.
All right, roll the finisher. So that's a straight 2d6.
7. I'll spend all my momentum.
Taking it up to a 10. And so with a 10, you, let's see, let me see yours. Yep. You hit your finish clean and you gain an audience. As Lilith, you sell it.
I'm a professional. As soon as she begins shushing, I begin thrashing, trying to rip these legs off of me. As the ref comes over and looks down at me for punching Santa Muerte, I glare at him, tap 3 times, and then pretend to have been choked the entire time.
And as soon as she taps, I help up there.
You break immediately. As the crowd, they're kind of going wild over this one because, you know, they saw some dirty fighting in here. Right now, the face is one. The crowd goes wild as they lift your arm, Santa Muerte. As Marge at the top of the ramp looks down at you, Jefferson, and you see her scowl as she turns around and walks back in. What is your heat, Lilith, with Santa? Is it 4, 2, 3? Santa, what is yours with Lilith?
Also 3.
All right. So we have no boost to audience. Did you hit 4, Santa?
I did not. I just got to 3.
All right.
Because I missed you at the beginning.
And as the crowd goes nuts, and this was sort of an impromptu match, y'all head to the back. And Marge is waiting on you, Jefferson, as you come back through. And actually, she sort of sniffs and just ignores you as she moves over to you, Lilith, and says, your manager didn't help you in this one.
Yeah. But to actually put me in my place, you need to get death on my ass. Remember that, Marjorie.
She gives you the up and down nods. And
Yeah.
that is where we're going to end our session. Woo! Gracious sakes alive. That was quite the session. We are already at 8:30. Do we have time for 5 minutes or do we need to cut out? All right. Let's do a very quick round of stars and wishes. Whew. I'm going to start at the back and work my way forward. So, Brandon, any stars or wishes?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I love everybody's gimmick. The things that I remember best are the Dr. Retro's insane box and all of the silly nonsense that went around that. Lilith choosing to get mean and real during the match, which I think will have wonderful repercussions. You know, the hot tag during the tag team match. Stan, fighting on notwithstanding his injury. I liked everything.
Excellent. Any wishes?
Um, the yeah, I a wish is for things to get weird and or spiritual backstage.
Ooh,
And
okay.
and certainly an argument with Lilith, which may go differently than Lilith might think.
Interesting. All right. We will work on something along those lines. Next up, David. Any stars or wishes?
I think there's good stars all around. I think Lowell does a great job playing the Percolator as this veteran who grizzled and then always having to be the one who takes the hit. I love that angle. It's really fun. Tyler, I love how you play Marge, and the disappointment and the improv match was a great kind of retcon of the framing of what was going to happen next. And I thought you did a good job of letting the big match breathe, and also like doing some backstage things and calling an audible. I thought all that worked out really well. I enjoyed all the backstage action that was happening between the characters. That was fun. I think that was a wish from last time, so that was great to see that wish fulfilled. It was fun to work a couple of hot tags. Mine and Lilith was fun. I thought the Percolators and Dr. Retro's was fun. Dr. Retro's gimmick is fun, and our manager is still doing a great job of just hitting everything with like, I'm promoting this wrestler, but then like backstage kind of being like kind of glad handing other people, even if they're like, they're a little strange. Like, that was great.
Lovely. Any wishes?
I don't think I have any.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Next up, I believe, is Jefferson Inferno. Shane, any stars or wishes?
Yeah, I had a great time again this week. I don't think I have any stars that would really add to what other people have said. I also really enjoyed the backstage scenes in particular. I think my wish is, I know I started to suggest setting up a match, but I feel like Jefferson maybe isn't quite ready for that yet. But I would like to expand the stable, maybe with like a non-player wrestler or something like that, so that I have some more business and more shtick.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next up, Ferret. Any stars and wishes?
Quick stars. I like that Jefferson already has his signature move with the poison spit. Feels very manager and wrestling. I like that Dr. Retro is the clown said favorite playbook. You're doing it amazingly. I feel the Percolator and Lilith are the exact opposite spectrums of veterans. Lilith is hungry for that championship, and the Percolator just wants things to go right. Damn it. And Santa Muerte is a disturbingly good character in all that entails, and Hank is a delight both backstage and on the mic. And Tyler,
Especially
you do
on
a
the
great
mic.
job always.
Thank you.
Wishes, Gauntlet, more.
What's that?
The wishes is the usual gauntlet of more.
More. Thank you very, very much. Next up, Lowell. Any stars and wishes?
So ditto on everything people have already said. But I do want to say this as a person who's run a ton of worldwide wrestling. I think that was one of the strongest tag team matches I've ever seen. I really do. Like, I thought that felt dynamic, felt like things went back and forth. There were enough turns. I mean, the tag team matches take a long time, but I think it felt right. Like, that was the right length. And even with the kind of chaos at the end, it felt like a really strong tag team match. Like, it was really enjoyable. So I just want to call that out. Wishes wise, more of the same.
Lovely. Thank you very, very much. And last but certainly not least, Chris, any stars and wishes?
Echo again what everybody else said, that it was a great fun session all around. I loved how the tag team match fired off. It worked out great. And I'll specifically call out Brandon. Like, I love the weird sort of Jim Hellwig Ultimate Warrior, way too serious about this vibe that the Santa Muerte gives off. Like I love how that plays out with everybody. That's so much fun.
Awesome. Any wishes?
Oh yeah, more.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'll hit one stars for all of you. I think it's excellent. Brandon, I think this character is so weird and interesting, and I love what it's bringing in. I want to know more about her, and I kind of want to play with your family that is worried about you. Thank you so much, Ferret, for what you've brought in with your family. I love what's happening there, and that moment with you and Hank was sort of sweet and neat. And David, I love how you play Hank. You on the table. Don't you want to say that? That was hilarious. It was so good. But that really sweet moment there. Shane, this manager is so sleazy. I love the there's a real feel that maybe Jefferson's a little more in Jefferson's corner than it's started off. And that is perfect. It is so cool. Just a delight to see it going. And Chris, you are nailing Dr. Retro, all around, just primo. And Lowell, oh my goodness, Percolator, I love him so much. And I just want him to be I want him to win. I want him to have this moment. Oh, I tried. For wishes, it was a match that had 5 PCs in it. It was going to take a while. Maybe I should have made it a little tighter. But again, the main thing I wanted to do is make sure everybody got in a match, and I liked all the backstage stuff. So if I have a wish, I want to make sure everyone has time. I hope, Brandon, you felt like you had enough time in that match. I will make sure we have a little more time, since you were the one who might have been shorted a little bit of ring time. Other than that, folks, thank you so much for playing. And folks at home, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, watch more.